Minute of prostration. God's Messenger said, the servant has no better means of approaching God than prostration in private. Also, whenever a Muslim performs a prostration for God's sake, God raises him 1 degree and absolves him of 1 offense. It is related that a man once said to God's Messenger, on him be peace, pray to God that he may include me among those who enjoy intercession, and that he may grant me a companionship in paradise. The Prophet ﷺ replied, help me by making frequent prostration. According to another tradition, the servant is never closer to God, exalted is he, than when he is prostrating himself in worship. This is the meaning of the words of God, great and glorious is he. Prostrate yourself and draw near. God, great and glorious is he, also says, their foreheads show the mark left by prostration. Some say this refers to the dust that sticks to the brow during the act of prostration, while others say it is the light of humility shining forth from within. The latter view is more correct. According to yet others, it is the radiance that will shine on their faces on the day of resurrection as a result of their ablution. The Prophet ﷺ said, if a human being prostrates himself at an appropriate point in his recitation of the Quran, the devil withdraws, weeping as he says, alas, this man was willing to prostrate himself and he has obeyed, so paradise is his. I was also commanded to make prostration, but I disobeyed, and so hell is my lot. It is said, it is told of Ali ibn Hussein ibn Ali that he used to make 1,000 prostrations every day. They used to call him the great prostrator, al-Sajjad. It is related that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, may God be pleased with him, never prostrated himself on anything but the bare earth. Yusuf ibn Asbat used to say, young men, take advantage of your good health before you become infirm, for I no longer envy anybody except a man who completes his bowing and prostration in prayer, now that my own time is short for that. Sayyid ibn Jubair said, I look to nothing in this world for consolation except to prostration and prayer. Uqba ibn Muslim said, no quality in a man is dearer to God, great and glorious is he, than the longing to meet him. At no moment is a man closer to God, great and glorious is he, than when he sinks down in prostration. Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, said, the servant is nearest to God, great and glorious is he, when he prostrates himself in prayer. So that is the time to make many supplications.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. الحمد لله. اللهم حققنا بحقائق السجود يا حي يا معبود يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the realities of prostration, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who are prostrating themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to Him. Ameen ya Arham ar-Rahimin ya Rabbil Alameen. Naam. Uqba bin Muslim says, no quality in a man is dearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the longing to meet Him. And that's it. And that's it. There is no quality that is dearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than the shawq to meet with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, longing to meet with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No. Longing to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الشوق إلى لقاء الله سبحانه وتعالى. There is no quality that is dearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the longing to meet Him. What does that mean? Well, there are two understandings for meeting Allah that we can have. We meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When someone dies, we said he went to his Lord. When someone dies, you say, he went to his Lord. And that's longing to meet him. So if someone is longing to die, to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's a high quality. It is longing to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is said that the shuhada of the Asr al-Nubuwah, the shuhada, the martyrs of the time of the prophethood, والسلام, they used to die with spears of love before the spears of envy. So they were longing to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they were going with that spirit. Not with the spirit of, I have nothing to do with my life anyways. Let me do something and quick exit and I become famous. And the news will be talking about me and the news will be talking about me and I'll become a hero. Right? And the whole world will know my name. My photos will be in all the newspapers. I have nothing to do with my life. I'm a loser already. What do I have to lose? Or, yeah, it's going to be fun out there. You'll have women and you'll have wine and you'll have lust and luxury and all these things that we cannot actually enjoy in this life. We will have them there. Or it has been difficult for us to wean ourselves of these desires and to live up to the Muhammadan standard, etc. So let us, so let us end this life and anyways. And he compared the state to the state of someone who wants to die because he is longing to meet his Lord. Longing to meet his Lord. الشوق إلى لقاء الله سبحانه وتعالى. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم علمنا الدعاء الشوق ونسألك الشوق إلى لقائك في غير ضراء مضرة ولا فتنة مضلة. And we ask that you give us longing to meet you. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم in one of his dua, in one of his prayers, and we ask you to give us longing to meet you. في غير ضراء مضرة ولا فتنة مضلة. So we meet you in a state not in ضراء and not in fitna, to meet you in good state. There is no quality in a man, or no quality in a man is dearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the longing to meet him. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his name is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. And all his names are furu'a of the name of his name Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Huwa Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and all the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are branches from the root, which is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman, one aspect of Ar-Rahman is merciful, or the compassionate, or the meaning that you have. No. That's one glimpse of Ar-Rahman. That's an effect of the name of Ar-Rahman. But Ar-Rahman means the one who created closeness, the one who created that this thing relates to this thing, the one who created that the child is related to his mother, these relations that we call Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman also, صيغة مبالغة, that he is the closest Rahim. He is the closest Rahim, Ar-Rahman. If the Christian, they call him the Father, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called himself in the Quran Ar-Rahman, the closest than the Father, closer than the Father, closer than the mother, closer than the father, and that's the meaning of Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman means the one who is closer than the father and mother. And if the Christians base it on hadith of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, when he told them no one would be allowed to enter the kingdom of the Lord until he becomes a child, and then the whole expression of children of God came. Children of God, that means people who accepted to become children, people who liberated themselves from the pride of that comes because with adulthood there is something called maturity, which is the beauty within you. But there is what we call sada, rust. There is the rust. Some people today, they only get the rust of adulthood. The brain is the brain of a child, and they get the rust of adulthood. And that's the combination that you get today. The brain is still the brain of a child, but the maturity is not the maturity of an adult. Because what is beautiful in an adult? His maturity. So the maturity is not there, but they get the rust of adulthood. What is the rust of adulthood? Pride, identity. I am so and so. I have this right. I have that right. Also, I have these limits. I do, etc. I'm limited. That's the rust of adulthood. وعلى كل حال, he told them no one will be admitted to the kingdom of the Lord or of the Father except and when he used Sayyidina Isa, the expression of Father, it's not something new, because the Hebrews, they used it before him. Because in the Hebrew language, Rabbi or Abi is the same thing, my origin, my father. So you find Jewish people, they say our father still. And we read it in Quran, they say نحن أبناء الله وأحباؤه. They say we are the children of God and His beloved ones. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran did not tell them that it is wrong to say that you are the children of God if you are relating to that relationship of love, but you are not consistent with your claim. That's what the Quran is criticizing. So why you did not keep consistent with your claim? So you say نحن أبناء الله وأحباؤه. Okay, so why are you killing His messengers? If you are the beloved children of God, why you are acting as very bad children? What kind of children are you? وعلى كل حال, we have a better expression because the language changed and some meanings they became very specific to some things. So we do not say Allahu Abuna, we say Allahu Rabbuna, and we say Allahu Rahmanuna. Allah is our Rahman. And we do not say we are the children of Ar-Rahman, we say we are Ibadur Rahman. And that's the title that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for us. And that's the update of the expression children of God, Ibadur Rahman. Ibadur Rahman. And abd, we said, doesn't mean slave or servant. That's one aspect of ubudiyya, but it means someone who seeks the pleasure of, someone who is walking on the path of. Ibadur Rahman, the seekers of Ar-Rahman. The seekers of Ar-Rahman. The seekers to be closer and closer and closer and closer. The seekers of this relationship, those who are looking for this relationship with their Creator, with their Rahman. Ar-Rahman is the one who created the relations, and He is the one who relates the most to His creation. That's Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman, when you say Ar-Rahman, that means the one who understands His creation the most, the one who feels for His creation the most, the one who knows His creation the most. And that's why Ar-Rahman is the master of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After we say, Huwa Allahu Ar-Rahman. And Ar-Rahim is the one who is actually drawing nearer and closer to his ibad. That means he's the one who not only who created the closeness, but the one who is acting on that, the one who is expressing closeness more than anyone else. Ar-Rahim, Mubalagha. Ar-Rahman, Mubalagha. Ar-Rahim, Mubalagha. And they have many meanings, and the Mufassirin, they gave many meanings. But this is when we go to the etymology, when we go to the literal meaning of the words, this is what we get. And absolutely, this doesn't exclude that Ar-Rahman is the merciful. Absolutely, but it is one dot. It is one glimpse. It doesn't exclude that Ar-Rahman is the compassionate, but it is one dot, one glimpse. But we do not reduce the meaning of Ar-Rahman in compassionate or merciful. So Ar-Rahman subhanahu wa ta'ala and Ar-Rahim subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who made the masters of all his attributes and names, from getting closer, from this expression of relating, getting closer, longing, yearning, loving. Some people, they translate the Rahman Rahim, the unconditionally loving. Indeed. So absolutely there is no quality more beloved to the lover than having his love reciprocated. There is no quality that would be more beloved to the lover, to a lover, than having his love reciprocated. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us and He wants us to love Him. No quality in a man is dearer, ahab. In Arabic is ahab. ما من خصلة أحب إلى الله. Ahab, more beloved, dearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the longing to meet Him. ليس من خصلة أحب إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى أحب في العبد إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى من الشوق إلى لقائه. Meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through death is something known. Meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also through removing the obstacles, meeting Him basically not outside of you, within you, meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within you, which is basically meeting or touching the rope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you within you, and that's meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within you. There is something called meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within you. One of the Arifin said, I used to be what is it? Meijin? And I visited all the temples to meet you there. I did not see you there. And then I became Jewish. And I visited all the temples. I did this, that pilgrimage. I did not meet you there. And then I became Christian. And I went to all the possible things and pilgrimage. I did not meet you there. And then I became Muslim. I went to Hajj, but I did not find you there. But when I looked inside me, I found you. And we are talking about a meaning. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not something, He's not a thing that you will meet outside. When you raise the level of your awareness and consciousness and shu'ur, you will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the level of, at least at the level of ideas or afkar. Yeah, that's the meeting point. The meeting point is not physical. Now, in the ibadah, in any action, in the salat, in the pilgrimage, etc., we go to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We go to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With what intention? To visit the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We come to the masjid with what intention? To visit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because He says subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who wants to visit me in my house, let him come to the masjid. But look at the expression. Why people, they called Mecca the house of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called the masjid His house. If you want to visit me, come to my house. And the salat, the prayer is called meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He gives us the following. He says, وَإِنَّا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. Who are they? الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ وَأَنَّهُمْ إِلَيْنَا يُرْجَعُونَ. And help yourself, assist yourself with sabr, with patience and salat. And it is heavy, the salat, it is heavy, it is difficult. Except for the khashi'in, except for those who have khushu', or except for those who are ready, we said khashi'in, except for those who are ready to catch life, khashi'in. And he gives the definition of khashi'in. الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ. Those who believe that they are meeting their Lord. Those who believe that they are meeting their Lord. There are two tafsir for this verse. There is one tafsir, those who believe that they are going to meet their Lord when they die. That means those who believe that this life is ephemeral, is nothing, is going to disappear one day. And those who want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a good state, that means they will make salat of muwadda'. Their salat will be the salat of someone who is dying, like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave us that instruction. He said, when they told him that we cannot have presence in our salat, he said, صلي صلاة مودع كأنك لا تصلي بعدها أبدا. Because if you keep procrastinating, okay, I will do this one, next time I will do better. As soon as you put the next time in your brain, خلاص, you are done. صلي صلاة مودع. And in anything, in any project, really, if we can really live up to that standard, خلاص, كأنك تصلي. Who is telling you that you will be able to do something? إذا قامت الساعة وبيد أحدكم فسيلة فليغرسها. And that's the whole philosophy of avoiding procrastination. Even if the time, even if the hour comes and you have a plant in your hand, plant it. Avoid procrastination. صلي صلاة مودع كأنك لا تصلي بعدها أبدا. Who tells you that you will have another chance after? That's it. Do صلاة مودع as if you have no chance to pray after it. That's one of the meanings of the hadith. طيب. So these people who believe that they are going to meet, those people who believe that they are mortal, they will be khashi'in. Because if you believe that you are mortal, you are not going to be contented with the level of life that you have, and will be seeking the true life. You find it in the stories of mythology, Gilgamesh and the flower of lotus, the first one in Iraq. And now Gilgamesh, he had his best friend, who was the king of No, before that. His friend's name, I think, was or something like that. and khalas, they were best friends now, and they were ruling together. And now the friend of Gilgamesh died, and Gilgamesh became so sad because his friend died, and couldn't believe that his friend died. And he started in the beginning in the emotional level, expressing his love in the emotional level. And he started saying, let the sky that witnessed your laughter weep for you. Let the earth that witnessed your footsteps weep for you. Let the door you used to open with your hand weep for you. It's exactly literally like this, and it's so beautiful, thing. And very long manahat Gilgamesh. It goes pages and pages, pages and pages, pages and pages, and he will count all the memories. Let that thing, let that horse that we found in the wilderness together weep for you. Let that bird that weep for you. And khalas. So he goes in that, and after that he wakes up to the spiritual, and now he says, we are mortal. And then he discovers his mortality. And the mythology there is truth within it, and very deep, and it's a philosophy of, I believe prophets or saints are the ones who started writing these things down, because it's to bring things back, to bring the humans back. And after that, now Gilgamesh, who was the king, and one of his titles was the king of kings, the king of the four directions, etc. Now he's face to face with mortality. So now he's not contented with the second phase of the Astura, or of the myth of Gilgamesh. After weeping for his friend, now he's weeping for his own self, that he's mortal. And then pages and pages, you find Gilgamesh, my skin, this beautiful skin, is going to be rotten. My eye, this beautiful eye, one day is going to be, etc. And now he's face to face with his mortality. Now he's not contented with what people call life. Now he lives his kingdom. He leaves his kingdom, and he leaves everything behind him, and he goes looking for the flower of eternity, the lotus flower. And Gilgamesh goes looking for the lotus flower called the flower of eternity, because it is the flower that raises from the mud, and it is full of life, and it is full of beauty, and there is and it is in swamp, it is in mud. And he goes looking for the flower, for the lotus flower, the flower of eternity, and there he meets Itrahasis, or Urukajamba, which is a figure of Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, the one who saved the whole of humanity with the boat, etc. And he meets Urukajamba, or Itrahasis, and he gives him a lesson that this eternal life, the physical eternal life, if you are looking for that, it's not for us. It's written for only few people, and I am one of them. But I will be always here. But the thing that you should be looking for is another kind of life, and he tells him about. Anyways, so this is to tell you that since the beginning, the human has to be put face to face with his mortality to remember to ask for the true life. So that verse, we understand it in that way. So salat is difficult except for those who are khashi'een, those who are ready to catch life. Why they are ready to catch life? Because they are not contented with the life that they have today. They are not contented. They are not calling this life. This is just material life. This is just biological life. They are seeking the true life. So that's why they are khashi'een. They are ready to receive, because they know what they need. They know what they want. They know what they are missing. Because the day you know that you are missing something, you'll be yearning for it, you'll be longing for it, and you'll be seeking it, and you'll get it. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I'm there, just seek me. I am there. Just seek me. But when people will start seeking God, when they stop believing that they are gods themselves. Only when you stop believing that you are God, you will be seeking God. As long as you believe that you are God, you won't be seeking God. All the Aqidah classes that we teach or that we learn, the Sifat of the Bashariyah and the Sifat of Rububiyyah is just the opposite. Fana versus Baqa, limited versus unlimited, etc. Beginning versus no beginning, and versus no and, weakness versus unlimited strength, limited will versus هكذا. When we stop believing that we are God, that we are gods, that we are gods, when we stop believing that we are gods, we will find God. Because we'll be seeking Him. And He says subhanahu wa ta'ala, seek me, you'll find me. اطلبني تجدني. As soon as you seek Him, for real, you will find Him because He's qareeb. But we need to stop being contented with the level of life or what we call life. This is hayat. What is this hayat? This is hayat. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He describes the hayat of the martyrs, لا خوف عليهم لا هم يحزنون يستبشرون يرزقون. They are getting the best of what we call life. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses expressions that we use for life today. They are yurzaqun, they have provision, but their provision is not like our provision. Their provision is non-stop. Yurzaqun, tayyib. They are ahya. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't say about those who died for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dead. Don't say about them that they are dead. Bal ahya, they are living. And they are عند ربهم. First of all, they are living and they are عند ربهم. They are so close to their Lord. Compared to your, compare to what we call hayat here in this dunya. You are far from your Lord. They are عند ربهم. You are أحي بعيد عن ربك وحي قريب من ربه. What is your hayat? They are عند ربهم. They are close from their caretaker. And يرزقون. And their provision is constant and continuous. طيب. فرحين. They do not have depression. They are فرحين. They are so joyful. They are فرحين. And they are يستبشرون. They are receiving the glad tidings and they are really living the glad tidings. And they are لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. No worry for them and no حزن for them. They actually feel compassion for those بالذين لم يلحقوا بهم من خوفهم من خلفهم يستبشرون بالذين لم يلحقوا بهم من خلفهم ألا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. They actually feel for others. What's missing in their life? Going to the washroom. Eating food. Needing to eat, needing to drink, needing to go to the washroom. That's it. Who has a better life? Who has more perfect life? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses these expressions in order to stir in our hearts that what you call life, it's not life. If you are contented with that level of life, that's not. Cannot be contented with that level of life. You are created for a higher level of life. So that's one of the meanings. Those who believe that they are going to meet with their Lord, that means they believe that they are mortal. One of the meanings. They will be ready to catch life. That means they will, I'm thirsty. When you realize that you are thirsty, you will be seeking water. You will be asking water. When you realize that you are dead, you will be asking life. When you realize that that's not the life that you... Another meaning, الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ. Those who believe that they are going to meet with their Lord, so they will be longing to meet with their Lord. That's why their salat and everything they do will be good, will be correct, will be done properly. But there is another meaning. There is another meaning, wallahu a'lam. الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم أثناء الصلاة. Those who believe that they are actually meeting their Lord during the salat. Those who actually believe when they come to the salat, they come with a state of mind that that's a meeting with their Lord. So when you feel your consciousness and your awareness that this salat is a meeting with my Lord, then you will have khushu'. And we have that understanding. And the Imam Ali Zain al-Abidin himself, we have a hadith about him, we have a narration, a khabar about him. And Imam Ali Zain al-Abidin, radiallahu anhu, they used to see him, his face would become pale every time he makes wudu, and he starts shivering. And they asked him, they told him, we see this state in you, are you allergic to water or something like that? He told them, no. It's not because of water, it is because of the state of mind that comes to me. أَلَا تَعْلَمُونَ بَيْنَ يَدَيْ مَنْ أَقُومُ. I'm about to meet my Lord. I'm about to meet and have that conversation with my Lord. So الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ, the fruit of that will be khushu'. But those who, they just don't think. You see that thing that we do not think. You see, when you have this OCD teacher trying to help you, just think. Think before acting. Okay? Think before acting. Because that will be training. If you start thinking before acting, before putting a plate in, before putting the food in this blue plate, and you ask yourself, why? Why this food and why that plate? Why that quantity? What is missing? That's all training to have khushu' in your salat. It's the same thing. The problem that we have today, that we do not think. That we start acting and we do not think. And how many times we come in the salat and we did not even give it a thought, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I here? What am I doing? Is it a call that I am responding to? Is this my Lord calling me to meet with Him? And I am coming to meet with Him. And every footstep is getting me closer to Him. And with water I am effacing my bad qualities. And with sujood I am embracing His qualities. Is this the prayer of Fajr? Is this the prayer of Dhuhr? What's the meaning of Dhuhr? What's the meaning of Fajr? What's the meaning of Asr? What's the meaning of Maghrib? What's the meaning of Isha? But at least, who is calling? Allahu Akbar. Who is the caller? I am answering the call of whom? I'm entering the house of whom? I'm reading the words of whom? I am bowing and prostrating, imitating the postures of whom? We come to the salat, we find ourselves in the third rak'ah and we did not even, there is something in the brain, I'm not talking about the brain, just the brain. Our neurological system did not switch on yet. And you are already at the third rak'ah, sometimes you are tahiyyatullah of the fourth rak'ah and you wake up as if you were in a coma or what is it? Tanwim maghnatisi. Hypnotized. Huh? No transcendence. No. Yani, trance state. That's it. Trance, not trance with love, but trance with absence, trance with ghafla. أعوذ بالله. قال أرسلنا الشياطين على الكافرين تؤزهم أزا. They just move like that. and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because the kafirin, they used to have movements like ruku' and sujood, and they used to have movements, and these movements, they did not invent them. And these movements, they were actually movements of Sayyidina Ibrahim, Allahu A'lam alayhi salam, or Sayyidina Musa. And we believe that, because when you find now some people, when they read, or they go to the Ha'at al-Mabka and they read like that, and you see it, most of the cases, it's just, it doesn't inspire anything. It's just ta'uzzum, it's just has. And the people of Tasawwuf, they carried on the legacy of before Islam, of what they call hadra or imara, or the ritual dance, etc. So if it becomes just has, it becomes وكأن الشياطين تؤزهم أزة. It becomes as if they are dancing to the rhythm of shayateen. That's it, because ghafla is from shaitan. The same movement and the same words can be in another context. And not criticizing the movement or saying, oh, that hadra is just satanic. No, it can be angelic, it can be satanic, the same. If you are doing it out of, you have your intention, and it has its art, and it has and you are and you know what you are doing. Bismillah. But if it is just, how many times in the salat itself we do not know what we are doing? We do not switch on. Because when we start asking why, and these are the secrets of Islamic worship. Imam al-Ghazali, I am talking from time to time about the inner dimensions. Imam al-Ghazali did not really talk about the inner dimensions, he just opened the doors for that, but he actually talked about the secrets. And we said that secrets for him is really to open our eyes and our ears wide enough and our hearts wide enough to understand in the details. Can they salat? And after that he is going to ask us the question. So all these ahadith, my friend, he's going to tell you, you think that they are befitting with the quality of salat that they were doing? All these rewards are befitting with these movements that you just did, with that kind of lack of mindfulness, with lack of awareness, lack of khushu'? That's it, that's what could that be possible? The kind of salat that you are offering is the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about? Is the one that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is describing? Is the one that tanha an al-fahsha'i wal-munkar? Is the one that يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم? So no quality in a man is dearer to God, great and glorious is He, than the longing to meet Him. And then, because the salat for them is, that's how they understood it from the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and from the Quran, from the verse I mentioned, الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم, and from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he says, the closer you get from your Lord when you are prostrating, أقرب ما يكون العبد من ربه وهو ساجد. The servant or the seeker is nearest to God, the abd, the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the seeker of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is nearest to God, great and glorious is He, when he prostrates himself in prayer. وهو ساجد. So that's why Uqba bin Muslim says, at no moment is a man closer to God, great and glorious is He, than when he sinks down in prostration. And he uses this expression, when he sinks down in prostration. It is about sinking down. It is It is. We use it dropping back into the ocean.
Diving.
Huh? And what about that isolated drop? We said dropping back or diving back. So actually that's it. Sujood is, look at the image that he got of sujood. It's like diving back. Diving back into what? Diving back into the level of consciousness that was before this creation, before this obstacle of the body. Because the body diving back into the old memory when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you, am I not your Lord? And you told him, yes you are. I bear witness. Diving back. And the prostration, you are putting your face down, you are basically erasing all, it's an effacement. It's an effacement. We said with wudu you efface your sins and your qualities, but with prostration you continue that effacement and you are embracing. You are embracing the hearing of God and the seeing of God and the face of God. ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم. Those who believe that they are actually meeting their Lord and their caretaker and their Rabb. And it's not الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو الله. It's not الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو الرب. It's الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم. Their Lord. They know Him. They have a relationship with Him. There is something that exists. Like when you say Habibihim. Their Lord. They know Him. And that's why Rasulullah ﷺ says, the servant or the seeker has no better means of approaching God than prostration in private. So let me ask you a question. One of the brothers, he says, you are translating abd to seeker, and that's the first time I heard it. I will let you judge, and he's watching. I will read this hadith twice and you tell me which word will be more appropriate. The servant has no better means of approaching God than prostration in private. Or the seeker has no better means of approaching God than prostration in private. We are talking of approaching. So which verb? Clear. You see, when you translate it that way, it makes sense. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the iqtirab. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is talking about taqarrub. Serving, if it is done with the intention of taqarrub, then it is ubudiyya. Otherwise it's not. So you translate abd to servant. Have you met bad servants? Oh, so many. All servants are seeking the pleasure of the master. How many servants are just seeking the salary? But when you say seeker, we understand the seeker of what? The seeker of what? The seeker of God, the seeker of that closeness. The seeker of the closeness to God. The seeker of the closeness. So, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the seeker has no better means if you are seeking. Oh you who is seeking God. The one who is going to yoga sessions. The one who is going to the darbar. The one who is going to the Hindu temple. The one who is going to the church. The one who is going to the synagogue. The one who is going to wherever you are going. If you are true seeking, if you are sincere seeking your Lord, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling you, there is no means, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no means better than prostration in private. Prostration in private. سجود وفي خلوة. There is no means for the seeker. Many people are seeking God. Many people are seeking, they want to become godly. They want to become people of God. They want to become close to God. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the guru of all gurus, okay, guru means teacher. The guru of all gurus, the teacher of all, right? Guru means teacher. The guru of all gurus and the teacher of all teachers, that's the literal meaning of guru, it's not a bad thing. Yeah. And the teacher of all teachers and the shaykh of all the shuyukh and the rahmatu al-alameen. Again, what's rahma al-alameen? Mercy to mankind, okay, great. And then they do not understand it then. Why wars? Where is mercy in wars? Write pages, 1,000 pages, to explain that rahmatan al-alameen is mercy to mankind. Oh, how is mercy? Actually, to kill them, it's more merciful. What an explanation, good. Because they are because they are bad people. If they live more, they will be doing more evil. So to kill them is mercy. It's mercy for them. Great explanation. Bismillah. How about tawbah after that? So then you do not understand it. If you only, especially with our limited understanding of mercy, or what mercy is, and the idol that we have in our brains, what mercy is and how mercy should look like. The imprisoned icon, you can say icon? Because they became icons in our brains. Mercy, gratitude, patience, they became icons. We need to liberate them. But anyways, but rahmatan la'alameen, what is rahmatan la'alameen? Rahmatan la'alameen means the means for al-alameen to come closer to God. The means, the wasila to al-alameen, to the whole alameen to come closer to God. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And we have not sent you but a means to bring people closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rahmatan lil-alameen also a source to bridge, to mend that relationship that these people, they قطعوا رحمهم مع Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They severed the ties, their ties with God, with their Creator. We sent you to connect these ties, to mend these ties, and that's rahmatan lil-alameen. Also rahmatan lil-alameen, you are close enough to the whole alameen. So rahmatan lil-alameen alayhi salatu wasalam is telling everyone who is pretending or claiming or actually seeking, those who are pretending or claiming or actually seeking, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, the seeker, if you are a seeker, oh seeker, if you are a seeker, the seeker has no better means of approaching God, of getting closer to God, than prostration in private. سجود في خلوة. So convey this message. So anyone who tells you I'm seeking God through this exercise, etc., Bismillah, I will tell you, this is another exercise. This is another exercise. Don't tell him anything, just go on, right? Prostrate your Lord in khalwa. He will be guided after that. Prostration in private. Prostration in private. It has actually two meanings. It has the meaning of prostration in private, where no one sees you. Then why? Why in private is better than public in this case? We just said that Salatul Jama'ah has 27 rewards. Why not for the nafila? Why the nafila is actually the nafila in private has at least 1,000 rewards more than the nafila in public. Not 27.
No one sees you except God.
Huh?
Because no one can see you except God.
And what else?
Danger of riya.
Okay, the danger of riya is repelled. What else?
Because you're your true self in private.
You are your true self in private. What else? You are your true self and you are facing the mirror and daring to see your truth. Because when you sink in prostration, you see yourself. You see your true self. Whatever you have in your heart, that's what you have. That's your hadh from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If when you are in sujood, your heart is empty from any desire to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means you need to work hard. When you are in prostration, actually, you are facing your own truth. That's your hadh, that's your reality. That's what you have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tell me, how is your sujood? I will tell you how are you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because that's the closest you can get. That's the closest you can get when you are sajid. The closest you can get when you are sajid. So how are you during your sujood? Tell me, how are you during your sujood? I will tell you how close you are from. You can tell yourself it's a mirror that never lies. السجود مرآة لا تكذبك. Sujood is a mirror that will never lie to you. It will never lie to you. And actually you are putting your face, and then that ground will become a mirror and you will see your heart clearly. خلاص. طيب. But why سجود في خلوة? Another meaning that we just explained. Because with people you might just do things because going with the flow or automatism but sujood fi khalwa. It's harder to do it in khalwa. To decide I'm going, so there is more. طيب. You will have necessarily more khushu' than that. Sujood fi khalwa. But also sujood fi khalwa also means, sujood fi khalwa means submission in his heart. Submission in his heart, because your khalwa is your heart. Because the literal meaning of the khalwa is your heart. That's your khalwa. That's the only place where you are alone and no one sees except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise you are mutajalli, you are fi jalwa, you are manifest to everyone else. Sujood fi khalwa means submission. Now we go to the literal meaning of sujood. By the way, literally sajada means to sink. Means to submit, means to sink, means to efface. These are the three literal meanings to sajada. SubhanAllah. Sujood fi khalwa means to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart. Sujood fi khalwa. And then that means we understand from where Ibn Atala Secondary radiyallahu anhu wa ardah says the best thing for the human being is a khalwa, is a retreat in which he enters a maidan of fikra, or fikra, a retreat, a seclusion or a retreat. He enters with it the field of an idea or something like that, or an idea that he enters, he takes it with him to a khalwa or something like that. And he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever a Muslim, as translated, whenever a Muslim performs a prostration for God's sake, God raises him 1 degree and absolves him of 1 offense. Whenever a Muslim performs a prostration for God's sake, God raises him 1 degree and absolves him of 1 offense. The way I understand this hadith, so even the one who cannot really efface totally, even the one who cannot really fully embrace the experience of sujood, every time you make sujood, you are actually, every sujood will erase 1 sin or 1 offense, because these offenses are the obstacles between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and elevate you 1 or raise you 1 degree, so you get actually closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, until with that exercise of sujood, وما زال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه فإذا أحببته صرت سمعه. Then he realizes the full meaning of sujood, and my abd will continue after the fara'id, and my abd, my seeker, will continue. The hadith, a very famous hadith, a very beautiful hadith. It's called the al-Tasawwuf. The hadith called al-Tasawwuf, the master hadith of the whole science of ihsan. It says, ما تقرب إلي عبدي بشيء أحب إلي ما افترضته عليه. Again, now if you translate to the seeker, you will understand everything will fall into its place. I become so fanatic when I choose a translation. Fanaticism, by the way, is not bad. It's not all fanaticism which is bad. إذا ظهر لك الحق in something and you see it conveys the meaning, without a minimum level of fanaticism, we cannot convey anything. I'll be okay, take it if you want. I think lots of that's bad adab for me. Just when you have an ijtihad, when you have a suggestion, suggest it strongly. Otherwise, do not suggest. So that's my suggestion, that abd should be from now on translated, and I will defend it. I will advocate for it everywhere. Seeker, because it reads so beautifully like that, and it makes more sense. Translate that hadith. ما تقرب إلي عبدي بأحب إلي ما افترضته عليه.
My servants.
We just said seeker.
My seeker. Autopilot.
You see? That was the word. The autopilot. Yeah.
My seeker does not draw near to me with anything that is more beloved to me than what I have commanded him or ordained upon him.
Say it again. Say it again.
My seeker does not draw near to me with anything.
Actually, does not find anything to draw to me better than.
My seeker does not find anything better to draw in drawing to me than what I have ordained to him or what I have commanded him.
Because he is the lover subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he really wants you to come close, for sure he will give you the best of ropes, he will send to you the best of boats, he will give you the best of means, because he's insisting that you come closer. So for sure he will send the best. I mean, if you are a mother or you are a father and you want your kid to come to you, for sure you will send to him the best means, the strongest means, the easiest means, the more sécurisé, safe. Absolutely. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the one insisting to bring us closer to Him. So then, for sure He will send us, He will make obligatory out of His hirs alayna, out of His rahma bina, He will make obligatory to us the best of means. And that's why, say it again.
My seeker will not, does not draw nearer to me with
does not find, does not.
My seeker does not draw near to me in any better way than with what I have ordained to him.
Say it again in like Heki, yani.
My seeker does not draw near to me with anything better than what I have ordained to him.
How about does not find anything to draw nearer to me better than?
My
I know
seeker,
it's heavy, but I want that
my
expression.
seeker does not find anything in drawing near to me better than what I have ordained to him.
Yeah, you won't find anything better than what he gave you already because he gave you the best of it. You understand? If you are seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you won't find anything better than these 5 prayers. You won't find anything better than the month of Ramadan. You won't fasting the month of Ramadan. You won't find anything better than the zakat. You won't find anything better than the fara'ah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because he gave you the best. He is the Khaliq, he is the creator, and he knows you very well, and he gave you the best thing that you can actually do, and it is very easy for you to do, but in the same time, subhanallah, ajib. The way he gave it to you in 5 times a day, that moment of the day, that moment of the day, that moment of the day, and that moment of the day, and that moment of the day. Ajib. The way he gave you 30 days of fasting, what kind of exercise could be better than that, etc. The way he, so that you won't find, again, my seeker?
My seeker does not find anything to draw near to me with better than what I have ordained to him.
وما زال يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه.
And he continues to draw near to me with his extra prayers until I come to love him.
You know, literally, farida means your obligatory share from something. Nafila means an extra gift. Farida, literally, means obligatory share. Something that it's yours. So, for example, we say, so-and-so, a rich man, he passed away and or before he passed away, farada. Farada, he made farida for his son so-and-so, the 5th, and for his son so-and-so, the 5th, and etc. He has 5 sons, for example. He has 5 sons, farada lahum, the 5th of each. That's the farida, that's their obligatory, nasib. وَنَفَّلَ أَحَدَهُمْ ضيعته في كذا وكذا في مكان كذا وكذا نفلها إياه. He gave additional gift. It's an extra. And that's the meaning of the فريضة and the nawafil. أحب إلي ما افترضت عليه, more than the obligatory share that I gave him, and he's still taking advantage and exposing himself to. He will continue to expose himself to these opportunities that I will keep sending to him through these through these nawafil, these ropes, these nafahat. That's how we should perceive the nawafil. They are nafahat, they are opportunities coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you are a true lover, you will be holding to you will be catching the maximum of opportunities, because you are a lover. But if you are contented, okay, you will be living with an attitude of letting go. This is enough for me. Then you are not a lover. وما زال يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه. Yes.
And he continues to draw near to me with his extra works until I come to love him.
Or with extra opportunities.
With extra opportunities until
that I'm giving him. Yeah.
With extra opportunities that I'm giving him until I love him.
And when I love him, I remove the veil between him and I, according to one narration. And according to the rest of narrations, and I become his hearing, through which he hears, or by which he hears. And I become his seeing, by which he sees. And I become his foot, by which he walks. And anything he asks from me, I will give. And anything he will seek protection from in me, I will protect him. And this is the level of عند ربهم. This is the level of عند ربهم. So you understand. So you keep making sujood. Wasjud waqtarib, wasjud waqtarib, wasjud waqtarib, wasjud waqtarib, wasjud waqtarib. And that's the meaning of wasjud waqtarib. The whole salat of nafila is celebrating the moment of sujood. Because you can, the only other way you can just make sujood directly when you are reading Quran. Now, can you feel like you are sitting in this majlis? You feel so, inshallah one day we'll have ahwal like that. Some people feel so really, alhamdulillah ya Rabbi for this, and you want to make sujood. You can or you cannot? You can. There is nothing wrong with that. Is that a ibadah? It is. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to have the sujood in a receptacle. So the whole salat, if you wish, is a preparation for that moment of sujood. Or is a receptacle for that jewel of sujood. Or is a protocol, or the thing for the jewel, for the diamond. On dit le diamant dans la coupole. What is la coupole in English? La coupole. Tu sais c'est quoi la coupole? Le diamant dans la coupole. Le diamant dans sa coupole. La coupole, c'est là où on met le diamant. Pour préserver le diamant. Pour mettre le diamant en valeur. So the diamond in whatever. The box. The container. Yeah. So the whole salat is really to present that diamond of sujood, of that moment of sujood. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this means for me and for you and for those who are listening and watching to really understand the meaning of sujood and live the haqiqah of sujood before they die. Before we die, Ameen ya Arhamar Rahimin ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Sujood is the means to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we say to get closer to Allah is to get closer to Rasulullah. Because there is no way you get closer to Allah while getting further from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or getting closer to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam while getting further from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not a horizontal relationship. It's not either or, and you will never find yourself in a position of either or. Never. Oh, pleasing Allah or pleasing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's only in the minds of those الذين لا يفقهون. That's in the minds of those who do not understand anything from what it means to be prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the habl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you. Is the means, is the wasila for sure. The closer you get, the more connection you get, the stronger you hold to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the closer you are to. Ajib, even a baby will understand. Even a child will understand. Oh, I'm worried, brother. Do salat ala Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brother, we shouldn't exaggerate, you know. Okay, you know. Because Allah Almighty, we have to give Allah Almighty His place, and Muhammad Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam His place. Ajib, you are going to put Allah in His place and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam His place. Astaghfirullah al-wahid al-ahad. What kind of aqidah is that? What kind of aqidah is that? What is the place that you are going to give to Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What is the place that you are going to put Allah Almighty in? Ittaqillah ya Abdullah. What kind of frozen minds do we have? You fear for your tawheed from the master of tawheed. You want to protect your tawheed from the best of muwahideen, from the source, from the means, from the one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put his name next to La ilaha illallah. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not fear for our tawheed? Why did he put La ilaha illallah? Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ajib. Is there any reason to fear? Have you met a single human being worshipping Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Yet some people are worshipping Isa, some people Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There is no fear. There is no reason to fear. You know, just 100 is enough, Salat ala Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because you have to make adl, you have to make justice, to give to Allah 100 istighfar and to give to Muhammad 100 Salat ala Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Ghabi! Crooked. What are you saying? I'm going 100. You are giving the istighfar to Allah. Does Allah need your istighfar to begin with? Oh, I'm giving 100 to Allah and I'm giving 100 to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Habibi, what are you doing? The istighfar is for you and the salat is for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not a need for your istighfar, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is not a need for your salat ala nabi. And these are both of them for you. If you make istighfar, the more you make istighfar, the closer you are getting from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam anyways. Because he is Sayyid al-Mustaghfirin. And the more you send salat ala Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the more you are getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the wasila. ولو أنهم إذ ظلموا أنفسهم جاءوك فاستغفروا الله واستغفر لهم الرسول لوجدوا الله توابا رحيما. عجيب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anticipated these kind of frozen minds, and he gave us such a difficult verse really to understand. It's playing between the two names. And in Surah An-Nisa, ولو أنهم ظلموا أنفسهم جاءوك. If only when they
wronged themselves, they had come to you.
They have come to you, okay? فَاسْتَغْفَرُوا اللَّهَ. I'm sorry, I'm using this and this just because the crooked mind sees this and this, but I'm not seeing it this and this, okay?
And they sought forgiveness from Allah.
وَاسْتَغْفَرَ لَهُمُ الرَّسُولُ.
And the Prophet sought forgiveness for them.
لَوَجَدُوا اللَّهَ.
They would have found God.
What is this? Can I do this and this? It can't be. It is this. It's Sirat Mustaqim. وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ جَاءُوكَ. Because if جاءوك, جاءوا لمن? If they come to you, they come to whom? فَاسْتَغْفَرُوا اللَّهَ. If they ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are pleasing whom? Pleasing you too. وَاسْتَغْفَرَ لَهُمُ الرَّسُولُ. Because, okay, and if Allah subhanahu, if Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is making istighfar for them, who in the reality is making istighfar for them? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the Rasul does not make istighfar except with permission. We read it in another verse, سَوْفَ أَسْتَغْفِرُ لَكُمْ رَبِّي. He did not tell them, I will. He said, سَوْفَ أَسْتَغْفِرُ لَكُمْ رَبِّي. I will have to ask permission. Sayyidina Yaqub for his kids said, سَوْفَ أَسْتَغْفِرُ لَكُمْ رَبِّي. But Sayyidina Yusuf, because he got the permission already, said, الْيَوْمَ يَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. He got the permission to seek forgiveness for his سيدنا إبراهيم وما كان استغفار إبراهيم لأبيه إلا عن موعدة وعدها إياه. طيب واستغفر لهم الرسول. طيب after that لوجدوا الله توابا رحيما.
Acceptor of repentance
and of returning, and توابا, accepting the alhamdulillah. And if they find Allah توابا رحيما, they can say to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, goodbye, now we found Allah. You stay there. Take care of those who did not find Allah yet, who haven't found Allah yet. We found Allah, we can go and as the first murtad said, فَقَأْتُمْ وَصَأْصَأْنَا. You know, there was someone who was amongst the first 10 people who accepted Islam. you know. But he used to think that he has something in his mind. Actually, he used to go to, in his young age, to Ghar Hira, to the cave of Hira, etc. He used to be the husband of Habiba bint Abi Sufyan. And he went to Habasha. He migrated to Habasha as a Muslim, to the land of this man, to Khalid. Maybe exactly the same place. What is the name of your village? I know Harar. Very close from there. Very close from there. Okay. And he went there, and subhanallah, he continued his meditations and etc. And then he sent back a letter to the rest of Muslims. He said, "Khalas, and yes, is Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prophet? Yes, he is. Khalas, I got everything from him. Now I do not need him anymore. You still need him because you are still small. I'm mature now. I'm adult. I became realized, so I don't need him anymore now. So you go, and for me, I'm going to keep my life here in these mountains and etc." And he told them, "Faqa'tum wa sa'sa'na." And he used the example of the eyes of the dog. He said, "You started just seeing a small light, but we see the light so clear now." And he ended up dying as a Christian. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Ameen ya arhamar rahimin rabbil alameen. And after that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, absolutely his wife divorced him, Habiba, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got married to her, or married her. So it's the same. It's the same relationship. That's why the hadith we have here, when the man came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the faqih amongst the Sahaba, he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he told him, "Pray to Allah that He may include me among those who enjoy your intercession." It's not about salvation or your intercession. I want to be amongst those who enjoy your intercession. And that He may grant me your companionship in paradise. Your intercession and your companionship in paradise. What are the means? Make sujood to me? No, the same things. أعني على نفسك بكثرة السجود. Assist me or help me by making frequent sujood. Help me by making frequent sujood. To me? No, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the sujood will get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Hadrat al-Sajideen, the Hadra of those who are Sajideen, and this master of Sajideen is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And may we inshallah meet in the Hadra of Sujood inshallah. When you sing, you will see who is actually diving. When you sing, you will be able to see who is actually diving. And those who do not see, that means they are still swimming on top. When you truly sink in the sujood, you will see those who are actually diving. And you will be meeting with them, and you will see them. As-sajideen, al-rukka' al-sujood. Those who have the truth of ruku' al-sujood. You will find yourself diving with them. You sink in Salat Jama'ah, you prostrate in Salat Jama'ah, having on your right so and so, on your left so and so, and you find yourself in sujood, having on your right Sayyidina Ibrahim, having on your left Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, Wallah al-wahad al-ahad. Or having on your right Umar, having on your left Ali, or having on your right Ali, or having on your right Abdul Qadir Jilani, having on your left Abdul Hassan al-Shazuli, or whatever. They are all sajideen. And the Imam is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In the true salat. in the Salat al-Haqiqah. It makes sense. It's not very difficult to understand. It makes sense. And if this doesn't make sense, what makes sense? اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين. نعم المولى ونعم النصير. اللهم اجمعنا بحبيبك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم في حضرة الساجدين يا أرحم الراحمين، واجمعنا بآل بيته المطهرين، واجمعنا بأصحابه المهتدين وأنبيائك المرسلين والصديقين أرحم الراحمين رب العالمين في حضرة الساجدين بحق قولك وقولك الحق. أولئك مع الذين آمنوا، أولئك مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا في حضرة الساجدين. آمين يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم يا حي يا قيوم يا رب العالمين ارزقنا رفقة وصحبة الذين أنعمت عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين في السجود إليك وفي التلذذ بالنظر إلى وجهك الكريم يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين. آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. We said when you efface your face, what is left? The face of your Lord. And those sajideen أنعم أولئك مع الذين, those, and there is a verse in Quran, and those will be with those Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has lavished them with His favors amongst al-Nabiyyin, amongst the prophets, as-Siddiqeen, the saints, al-Shuhada, the witnesses, and as-Salihin, and the pious ones, including martyrs. Subhanallah. What is this ni'mah? وحسن, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وحسن أولئك رفيقا, and they are the best companion. Where? عند التجلي, عند النظر إلى وجه الله سبحانه وتعالى, when contemplating the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the sujood. That's the sujood. When you efface your face, you see the face. And that's the sujood. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the haqiqah of sujood. And may inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala ahli ashabi tabi'in tahirin.